Whoa, are you revving a Hellcat engine or are you preparing me a Haley Bieber Choco Monkey smoothie, Ty?
Actually, Eric, I'm doing both. I may be blending in the back of the Maybach, but if you have this blender, you can blend anywhere.
Wait a minute, you're telling me that this blender is battery powered and portable and lasts up to 15 blend cycles?
Hell yeah, brother, it lasts longer than me. This is the BlendJet 2, and it's better than a girlfriend.
Well, our breadheads don't have either, but they can use code BREADHEAD12 on blendjet.com to get 12 inches off this BJ and start blending in the bathtub.
Taking baths sounds a bit too zesty for me. By the way, this thing has free shipping and colorways that are giving me an insurrection.
Well, that's right, guys. It comes in Strawberry Manga Smoothie Red, Pixar Illegal Alien Green, and LG BLT Pride Rainbow.
Whether you want to blend in or stand out, get your 12 inches off at blendjet.com. Code BREADHEAD12.
How you doing over there?
I'm doing so good, Eric. I'm coming off a real high from the weekend, and I have so much to share with you today. This is going to be a great episode.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. I was thinking about all of our activations this weekend. You know, Ty and I dined at Subway. That was huge. You were there with me, Ty, but you don't know everything that occurred because there was something that I kept a secret until now.
Oh, wow.
We can get into that now or later, up to you.
Let's jump right in. So Eric and I went to Subway this weekend, an activation in my neighborhood. As the breadheads who are familiar with the matter know, a brand new Subway location opened in my hood, and Eric had to come and sample the local cuisine. So
that is right.
Take it from there, Eric. You roll in. What did you just do? I heard a snap.
That was my magic mouse falling off of my table.
Hard to catch a mouse.
It is. What did you say, Ty? I came over to your house or something?
Well, it's kind of, yeah. You rolled up to my crib in your whip, a Mercedes-Benz E-Class, strolling through the neighborhood. You wanted to sample the local cuisine, try the customs and the culture of where my homestead is.
Yeah, that's right. Your homestead. You're right, Ty. I pulled up. I said on the Snap app, "Hey, I'm outside Subway." It's like, I'll be right outside the Subway. Just pull up. I'm like, okay, great. So I pulled up, saw Ty walking over real sleuth-like to my car. We parked, walked into the Subway for a quick little lunch. And
I did feel like a lot lizard the way I was approaching you in the Benz. Like you wind down the window a little bit, like the GTA 5 like disc cover.
Honestly, it was that you were holding a lollipop. It was really weird. I was kind of concerned. Yeah, Ty rolled up to the window. I like cracked it by 1 inch only and said, "How much?" And he said, 12. I said, "Say less."
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I got to check out the Subway, the aforementioned Subway that Ty talked about last episode, the one with the vaulted ceilings. I have to admit, I was picturing something a lot nicer, kind of like a monastery vibe.
Oh, something more grandiose.
Yeah, I was picturing like almost like a Best Buy warehouse in a sense, like very tall ceiling, TVs on the ceiling, also like either a dentist or Best Buy, either one. But it was neither of those, Ty. It was only a few feet taller. Still pretty different than most Subways, I guess, but yeah, I found it to be underwhelming. But that's on brand, so I wasn't too upset about that.
You wanted 12 inch. You were expecting 12 inches. You only got 6, and that's on me, Eric. I'm so enamored with the nuance of Subway that the smallest of change deserves a very large segment on our podcast, almost to the fault of setting false expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I don't think you were expecting me to pull up either. So you probably sold it to our listeners as well, as much as you did to me. But
I'm
anyways,
definitely pandering a bit.
it's okay. I fully understand. However,
Or
Ty and what's that?
I was gonna say the breadhead term for pandering is panerading.
Thank you. Or pan, even just pan, because it's French.
Oh yeah, pondering.
Pan. Pan. What's
Whoa,
pan? It's like I don't know, Spanish. I don't fucking know, bro.
dude, breadhead's going crazy. We call it a pandemic.
This whole time, it was actually a bread-demic, and we're the wet market that started it
Hmm.
all. Well, thank God for us. Um, yeah, in this case, it wasn't a lab leak, but it was directly from the Subway wet ingredients section. Gotta dry the
Hmm.
wets, Ty. That's what they say.
Hmm. You know, some
Um,
viruses are born in a wet market, others are born in a very dry toaster.
well, after we got to Subway, Ty, we ordered. It was just like clockwork. Like no matter where you are, as long as you're at a
Hmm.
Subway, you know what you're doing.
Hmm.
And we proceeded to order. However, the menu was confusing. I will mention that because you were right about that. Um, it's funny because like a paper menu is like harder to change and update and iterate on, but
Hmm.
these were all TVs and yet they still like couldn't figure it out.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I think they iterate too quickly with the TV menu. The technology affords the possibility of a daily change to the menu, which means every visit I have to relearn how to read the menu. It's like,
mhm.
my God, they don't need to change the fonts.
My God, just put the TVs with the same stuff next to each other. Like
Yeah,
the actual sandwiches are bookending the sides.
yeah, it's
Make
whack as
that make
hell.
sense.
They're trying to put the soup right in front and center. So I gotta scan
Hmm.
left to right from one end cap to the other if I want to see all of the like the signature sandwiches.
Exactly. Bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Um, and then yeah, we got our sandwiches. And here's the secret, Ty.
It's like, you know when it's like you're trying to like torrent music on like the Pirate Bay and you have to know where to click? That's how I feel ordering at Subway. I have to like looking around trying to avoid all of their ads for other bullshit, trying to just
Yeah.
find the genuine sandwich to order. Anyways, I digress. What were you saying?
Yeah, it's like explaining to somebody like ignore the big green play button. That's actually a virus. Click on the small play text.
Yeah, it's whack as hell. Except like you don't get like weird porn on your computer if you order the wrong thing at Subway.
Well,
You might have a
make
similar feeling.
it's probably the opposite. Like the weird porn probably brought you to Subway.
Oh, yeah. Subway's online marketing scheme. Like you hit the wrong button on the Pirate Bay and it downloads the menu.
Yeah, one wrong ambassador and you're forever linked with child porn.
Hmm. Damn.
Um, it's crazy. But anyways, I got my sandwich, um, and I was at the debit machine, and I tipped the sandwich artist 10%.
What? I was shoulder surfing behind you. I was like a helicopter manager, the way I was waiting for you to finish out your order. And I could have sworn you hit a few more presses than normal on that little pin pad. And I even thought to myself, yep. I didn't want to accuse you, so I didn't bring it up.
I appreciate you avoiding the accusation, but yeah, I think in order to save a click, I, went for the 10% tip because it was the cheapest option, and I couldn't like really see how to avoid it. There was no clear like no option.
Hmm.
Usually at our location, in downtown, there is like an older terminal that has no touchscreen, and
Hmm.
it just says like, "Is this correct? Yes or no?" kind of vibe. So that's much easier to navigate versus this new touchscreen bullshit. Like this whole new subway is like way too technological for me. Clearly, um, like don't they know that I record this podcast on AirPods?
Hmm. Dude, and new touchpads at these like point of sale systems, unless you're using torched square, they're always like not a proper touchpad. They feel like an old like Nokia phone touchpad where you have to like still press and feel like a click on the screen.
Yeah, literally, you gotta press down on it and like break the screen for it to register. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Ty, I also maybe felt a little guilt because it was a brand new Subway. You know, it's been open for maybe 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also visiting your hood. So, you know, I had to pay respects. You know, I'm a guest
Mm-hmm.
here. This is my first time in the area. So I had to, you know, make sure that like whenever I visit, I gotta check in with Ty, you know what I mean? On some
That's
gang
good.
shit.
Thank you for supporting my local economies.
You're welcome. I hope that your neighborhood is able to open up some good businesses in the future, unlike this one.
Well, every sandwich artist is just waiting till they can get enough tips to get out of there and then open their own business. What they resell shoes, or maybe they open a spa. I don't really know what the sandwich artist long-term like professional plan is, but I'd imagine it's because they're good with their hands, like a masseuse maybe.
Yes, that's a great idea and it's probably accurate. But actually, backing up 1 second, I want to call out another moment of panic that I had at Subway.
Mm.
When my sandwich artist was folding my sandwich over, you know, getting it ready for its wrap job, she stuck her like all 8 fingers. She stuck all 8 fingers into my into my sandwich, okay, and like pressed down on all the veggies in order for the bread to close. I've never seen this before. Usually they kind of like do a half fold and like they don't really care if like most of the veggies are spilling out. But I
Hmm.
actually kind of appreciated it later on because when I unwrapped my sandwich, there was like full bread to bread contact around the
Mm.
entire sub. It was like fully enclosed in bread,
Like a
but
burrito.
like a burrito, but there was like a lot of veggies and meat inside. So I didn't sacrifice any of the flavor. It was
Hmm.
just more compacted, kind of like a junior chicken from McDonald's, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. I did notice that the cross section of your footlong had a really clean cut. You could see like the meat territory and the lettuce continent. It was a really nice little map of the flavor profile, but
Hmm.
that is very strange to go in two-handed, all digits, finger deep in the footlong. I have seen in some scenarios the sandwich artist will take the bread knife and kind of press the tomatoes down to ensure stability before closure.
Hmm.
Never have I seen them go in both hands and just like play a footlong like this, like the ivory keys.
Yeah. I mean, she was like doing perfect keyboard form. You know what I mean? Like finger on the
Mhm,
F key and finger on the J,
mhm,
index finger, you know, pressing down, making sure my all my veggies are there. Um, Honestly, I respect it. And that must be in the onboarding for a new Subway. Like that eventually that'll probably go away as the Subway
mhm.
matures, you know?
Yeah.
Um, One other thing I noticed, Ty, and this was really interesting because it's the exact opposite of what I just described. This is like a baked in habit that seemed to manifest itself very, very early on into the Subway's lifetime.
Mhm,
And this is when I was ordering my vegetables.
mhm,
She said, "Veggies, please," and I said, "Yes." And then I was like, I started with the tomato, and
mhm.
while I was saying tomato, her hand was in the lettuce bin. Her hand,
Where it doesn't belong.
exactly. It was in the wrong bucket. It was in there, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get tomatoes and lettuce." And then she dropped the tomato and went back to the lettuce. So clearly, there's an order of operations. And so that's why they probably encourage you to like riff off all of the vegetables you want right away.
Right,
Thoughts on
right.
that?
Yeah, oh, totally. I'm sure there's a strategic order for placement. It probably is max optimized for sandwich closure. Um, but dude, as soon as they put the hand in the lettuce bucket before I start speaking, it's like, get your hand out my fucking lettuce.
Exactly.
That's when
Amazing.
you just got to start mixing it up. You got to keep them on their toes and fingertips.
Next
Start with
time
the
I'm starting with
pickles. I don't know.
I was gonna say I'm starting with black olives next time. Come on, black
Yeah.
olives in reverse order, basically.
It's like a good tennis match, right? You want to send your opponent to the corners.
Exactly. Send them to the corners. Yeah. Slice at the end.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It always ends with deuces.
Yeah. Dropping a deuce on them. Um,
Damn. Yeah, that's whack, dude. That she would be so forward with that vegetable selection. My biggest challenge with the artist was at the very beginning of my order, I asked them which bread option was the least popular because I wanted to mix
mhm,
it up a bit and I didn't want to be make like a norm core sandwich.
mhm.
Uh, she didn't really understand the question, fair enough.
She
But
said
once
least.
least, like, why would you need to know that? Anyways, we like 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 a good detective, we were able to get the information out of her. Turns out it's
Hmm.
Tex-Mex bread. I can't believe that because that's basically two cultures coming together. That's a large population that would have like they probably have a say in Tex-Mex bread.
Yeah. It accommodates an entire country.
Hmm.
Mexico is bigger than Italy, isn't it?
It's very similar shape.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so. But there's more people in Mexico. So in theory, there's more
Hmm.
Mexicans that would opt for the Tex-Mex versus the Italian herbs and cheese, is what I'm getting at.
I would think so, right? Unless they consider
Hmm.
it cultural appropriation.
Maybe. But so is the herbs and cheese. Like, I don't think Italians eat that.
That's true. So, what ethnicities do eat at Subway, or which countries eat at Subway?
Surrey. Surrey and I don't know, Delta or something.
Right.
Which population or like which like demographic has the most construction sites? It's probably that one.
Oh yeah, it's wherever gentrification is happening the most.
Hmm. Interesting. So
Interesting.
apparently next to your place.
Yeah, there's a lot of construction. Um,
Excellent.
yeah, but anyways, I tried Tex-Mex bread. Had a little bit more spice than Italian herb and cheese, and I kind of like that. Like you want
Hmm.
a heavy hit and flavor profile, I
Hmm.
would suggest the Tex-Mex.
I'm in the opposite boat, Ty. I'm going straight back to where I came from.
Mm.
I'm going to back to the Italian herbs and cheese. Um, the main reason for that is because I think the Tex-Mex did a number on the roof of my mouth. It was so
Really?
dry and crunchy and crackly and a lot of like dust on top. That was like
Crusty,
just
musty, dusty.
crusty, musty, dusty, rusty. It was doing a number on me, Ty, and I don't know. I left that Subway thinking like, wow, this is too spicy, and it's like my mouth is shredded, and not
Mm,
like the lettuce.
that's too bad. So you've returned to white and bland bread?
Exactly. I want cheese, and the only way I can get extra cheese at Subway without paying more is to get it baked into the bread.
I totally get that. Um, it's like I don't want to come across as like a radical, but I think cheese belongs inside the bread.
Beautiful. Well, that's all I've had really to say about the Subway experience we had, Ty. We did have a lot more fun had after. Um, after the Subway tie, we went straight to a gun range, and
Mm,
yeah, that was exhilarating. It wasn't my first time shooting anything,
clearly.
clearly, but it was yours, and I want you to talk about that a bit. How was it, you know, joining the boys in blue?
It did feel full circle that that police officers love to go to Subway. We talk about Subway, we get paid to talk about Subway, and then we use that money to go to a gun range to shoot guns with a police officer.
It was
There's
pretty amazing.
the circle of life, if you will.
Exactly.
Before I get into my experience, I do want to share that you are an incredible sharpshooter. You've clearly shot your shot with more than a few tools before. He's familiar with the tools of the trade.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Ty. I was leading the ordering process, much like when you
Hmm.
order a sandwich and you gotta choose your vegetables. I was, in charge of the ammunition ordering.
Hmm.
I was suggesting to the group like, it's like when we want to share something with the table, it's like, how about we, share a rifle as well, guys? It's like,
Hmm.
we can't go in there shooting only handhelds.
Yeah, you
We need
totally.
something, we need something to, really sink our teeth into, and that was the AR section of the menu.
It really was like it felt like you were like managing the appetizers for the table. It was
Mhm.
very thrilling to just like stand behind you with my mouth open and just wait. But yeah, you're a sharpshooter. You didn't miss your target, which
Mhm.
is fair. I've never seen you miss your mouth with a foot long, and it's a very similar action.
Absolutely. Um, but Ty, it was really fun actually to listen to you ask the barista, the arms dealer, um, questions that you would probably ask like a restaurant like server,
Hmm.
like which one of these has the least kick?
What's the heat level on this?
Yeah, I want the one with the least amount of kick. What's the difference between these two?
Hmm.
One seems to be longer. Like there was a choice between like the long revolver and then a short one. We opted for the 12 inch, obviously.
Obviously.
Um, but yeah, there was a lot of questions that went into the ordering process. Um, and we even shot off a nice little Desert Eagle, which was pretty cool.
That was definitely the highlight of the day for me was firing that fireball generating. That was really the jalapeno of the gun selection. It,
Absolutely.
dude. I wish that the menu for the gun selection had like little symbols next to it to tell me like what's most popular, what
Mm,
the gun range thinks is their favorite with a little star. Ones that
maybe
were
a
like
little,
manufactured ethically.
yeah, maybe a little V for like, this gun will be good for like the soy boys. It's
I'd
just like
like
a
that.
water gun.
The least recoil.
Yeah, it's like shooting like Nerf bullets.
Hmm. But
Yeah.
shooting a gun, Eric, has it's a very surreal experience. It was my first time um, to do that, and I walked away from it feeling like just really, really like toxic. I felt like, oh man, I'm a dude. You
Yeah,
know,
dude.
it was thrilling. I felt like my biceps grew a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to explore different sides of your personality. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, you probably never would have done that if it wasn't for me being like, "Hey, let's go shoot some guns today. Let's get in our, uh, toxic masculine bag and eat at Subway, and then go shoot some guns."
Yeah,
And that felt awesome, dude. Like,
downing a footlong before shooting guns was the right move because it added an additional weight to my center of gravity, which allowed me to manage the weapon a little bit better. So brilliant stringing together of activities.
I could be like a party planner or something. Like the way we like organize that set of activities, we also went for beers after.
Hmm.
And what else did we do? Oh, we played pool. It was just a very manly day. Like I don't know what
Hell
else we could
yeah.
have done except for like I don't know, taxes or something.
Hell yeah. Uh, ate some tacos, the most manly of finger foods. Actually, maybe the least.
Damn it, I wasn't gonna mention that, but
Yeah, dude, it was wild. I've had a wild weekend. Beyond shooting guns, I like rented and drove around a red Corvette on Saturday, convertible Stingray
hmm
2016
you
V8.
know, that gave me the idea. And I was like, man, I'm gonna go look for a nice car to drive on a rental app.
Hmm.
And I found that one. I found the red Corvette that you drove, and then
Oh,
like
sick.
the host's name is also Ty.
Yeah,
And
I know.
I saw it. I was like, Ty's red Corvette. I was like, oh shit.
Dude, it was pretty funny meeting him because it's one of those like the Spider-Man meme of them all pointing at each other. Yeah, but
Wow, dude.
you should take it for a rip. It's really cool. You will completely understand the male gaze after driving a Corvette. because the only people that look at you in that vehicle are old men who stare you down and young boys who point at you and smile.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. How did that
Yeah.
make you feel, Ty? Or did you like feel like you needed to give them like a show? Did you do any burnouts or do a quick
Do
donut in the middle of the intersection?
a little bit of a few vroom vrooms here and there.
Oh yeah, buddy. Love to see it.
Sometimes I was cranking back, honestly, never mind the whole time. It felt like the appropriate vibes for a sunny day with the top down.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Hmm. So that's the show they got, was me bobbing my head.
Excellent. Well, I want to talk about guns a bit more, Ty. I don't think we're done on that topic, but
Obviously not.
um, we shot some we shot some Mighty Mouse, we shot some
Hmm.
6 inches and a foot long. Out of those three categories of gun, what was your favorite?
Well, Eric, I really enjoyed shooting the footlong gun, aka the semi-automatic rifle, because it had the laser pointer in it, which made it incredibly accurate, and it had the least amount of recoil. So you know that my little tiny shoulders had no issue managing
Hmm.
a sandwich of that size.
Hmm.
And it really felt the most like a video game to
Yeah.
use,
That
which
one did feel like a toy. Like it was actually scary how easy it was to use. I'm like, wow, like anyone can pick this up and like just go to town on anything. Like it
yeah.
felt really easy to manage. And that was like
Hmm.
I was like, oh, maybe there should be like some friction here. You know what I mean?
You'd think, yeah. It's funny that like Call of Duty and video games try to like create an aspirational environment for like gun use in war. But then when I was
Hmm.
actually using that gun, I felt like it was trying to create an aspirational environment of the video game. Like they're both trying to be each other.
Mm, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Maybe the game designers just do a really, really good job of it because like I found that when it was time to like reload the pistol, I knew exactly what to do. And like I granted I have done it before, but it's like muscle memory just like kicks in and like you know exactly what you're doing. You don't even have to like look at the gun. It's just like ready to
Right.
rock.
We're all being radicalized by EA games.
Yeah, absolutely. They're they're brainwashing us with the skills required for the next world war. It's like we're downloading all this information in our brains so that when we're of age to join the army, we already know how to use all the guns.
Yeah, totally. I feel like all these like the new age like war game genre is like cooking games. I don't know if you've played like Overcooked or a few
Oh
others,
yeah.
which I think is like Subway's opportunity to radicalize a new generation of sandwich artists, equipped subconsciously with the skills they need to pump out footlongs for big way.
Wow, you're right. So it's entirely possible that Quiznos, which is a scripted TV show,
Hmm.
is doing its best to deplatform Overcooked.
I think so. Yeah, Quiznos needs to kill Overcooked. They're probably lobbying the government about like getting the youth off video games, like banning
Hmm.
the Nintendo Switch.
Hmm. Yeah, I know they're always trying to ban video games, and that's a really funny like position to take because I
Hmm.
think the assumption is like, oh yeah, these kids are being more violent because of the video games, but they never really think like, oh, maybe just violent kids love these violent video games.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. Maybe they need to ban the violent kids.
Exactly. Ban the violent kids, hand them some plastic gloves, a visor, and see what they're able to create. That's what I say.
Hell yeah. Um,
Whoever made my fucking Tex-Mex sub was a violent person because that shit tore the shit out of my mouth. I'm still like recovering from that.
I don't know, man. I watched them caress your foot long with all 8 fingers, with the gentle like a master pianist, and I don't think there's any violence in those fingers. I think it's misplaced aggression at best.
Possibly. Or Ty the toaster. The toaster is this like this is NPC, in the
Hmm.
Subway universe.
Right.
but it holds a lot of power because when I saw your sandwich come out, it was pretty white still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
It didn't look too crispy. Um, I was like, oh, okay, maybe like, it's a new toaster, there's like a break-in period. You can't rev it above 3,000 RPMs.
Hmm.
You gotta keep it pretty chill for the first few orders. But then mine went in there and it was like nuclear. It went nuclear.
Damn. Oh fuck. The toaster, dude, it's like the Terminator of the Subway. It has no allegiances. Not to the
Mhm.
artist, not to me, definitely not to Paul, the franchise owner.
Definitely
So
not.
it beats to its own heat.
It beats its heat all over our sandwiches, Ty, and we have no
Hmm.
say in the matter.
You're really rolling the dice. Like, I didn't want a sandwich with the complexion of a ginger. I wanted a perfectly golden marshmallow brown, but sometimes you get what the toaster wants you to have. The toast the toaster knows.
hmm there should be like some kind of shuffle button at Subway. You know what I mean? Like if
Hmm.
I don't know what I want, can I just hit shuffle and then I get like one to two random meats, um, like any random assortment of vegetables,
Hmm.
random two sauces, and then call it a day. And a random cookie, why not?
Yeah,
I
why
think that'd be
not?
so fun.
I would love that. I'm sure that's an app feature. I've I don't have the app on my phone anymore. Like,
I deleted it as well. There's no reason to have it
hmm.
until Subway launches a credit card. That might be
Oh,
the
that'd be
move.
sick.
Like, do you have the Subway Mastercard?
Dude, it'll be a scratch and sniff for real.
Mhm. Speaking of scratch and sniff, we reeked of Subway the entire time we were shooting guns. And I
Hmm.
think the only thing that eliminated the smell was like the gunpowder.
Oh yeah, the smoke coming out of the barrel of the revolver.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then it kind of like infused with one another. And then it
hmm.
just smelled like a prison, you know what I mean? Like law enforcement and bad food.
Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was like thinking, is this how like Tom Ford comes up with his ideas? Is that you just like string together a bunch of like really smelly activities and then reflect?
Probably. Like, what's the IRL version of like an eyedropper tool, but for scent? Like, can you
Hmm.
capture like air in a jar and be like, I want my scent to smell like this gun range.
Right. And like cocktail shaker it together, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just air.
It's just air. Yeah, wow. That's
I
pretty
don't
cool.
really understand. I don't really understand aroma. I I know how to experience, but I don't know how to create it.
Yeah, like most things in this world, my friend,
Hmm.
except for sandwiches. We can experience and create them.
Wow, Subway really is a superpower.
Dude, it's democratic art.
Hmm. Wow, that's incredible, Eric. I feel like I'm excited to go with you back to the gun range.
We can bring things to the gun range to shoot at. Should we bring a footlong?
That would be so funny. Uh, I'd like to put the Subway menu actually at the back there and take a few shots at it. There's your randomizer, Eric.
Wow. We could shoot a
Just
shotgun at it, just like have a buckshot decide
hmm.
where the bullets fall, you know?
That'd be a pretty fun day though if you printed off a picture of every single ingredient on the menu and then took it to the range, popped like 12 bullets in, and whatever you hit, you put on your sandwich afterwards. A little après shoot.
Dude, nothing works up an appetite like shooting a 50 caliber pistol.
Hmm. Wow, I love
Wonderful.
that.
Yeah, dude, we gotta reactivate pretty soon. Let's go to a different gun range. And I say we skip the pistols. Let's go straight to the heavy hitters. ARs
Although
only.
I do want to work on my pistol wielding.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
feel like,
appetizer.
well, it was such a, I guess like surprise that you were so good with it. You
Mm.
because you were just like right off rip, like rat tat 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 straight in the middle. So casual. For all I know, you were one-handed doing it, and I thought to myself, "Oh, I want to be like that guy."
Oh, I'm honored, Ty. Yeah, I guess it's practice. I don't know. I also had a beer beforehand. Like you had a
Mm,
coffee and I had a lager, and I think that's what like just calmed my nerves down.
right. Get the
You
jitters out.
know, yeah, the nicotine patch also helped, but
So you spent the whole day like taking the steps, whatever steps necessary to lower your heart rate.
yeah, absolutely. I took a bunch of deep breaths. I listened to a Jay Shetty podcast while you
Mm.
were taking your turn. And then as soon as it was my turn, I just click, clap, bow.
See, I thought that the 12 inches of sandwich I had ate would have put me in like a comatose, and I would be so sluggish behind the trigger that I would have such precision as a result.
Mm. I mean, there's always that scene in like any action movie where you like there's like some nerdy type or like some
Hmm.
I guess someone who just never shot a gun before. Their only task is to shoot the bad guy,
Hmm.
and the bad guy's not even looking that way or whatever,
Hmm.
and to save their friend, right? And then they just like panic and they go, oh, and it's like they shake up a storm, and then maybe the bad guy sees them and they're like, hey, what are you doing? And then
Hmm.
they drop the gun and then they run or whatever, even worse, get caught. That's kind of how you approached it.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say that was what I did, but I definitely tried to talk myself out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw the human behind the clown graphic that we were shooting at.
Mm, yeah, I I'm a person against for the ethical treatment of clowns.
I'm not. I hate clowns. I hate, you know, just everything they stand for, really. I can't even articulate who I might be talking about, Ty, but just let's just say clowns in general.
Bit ironic from the guy that's recording from a pillow fort.
If only the listeners saw your face right now, because this blanket you put above your head for sound dampening purposes has slowly just shifted down the entire time.
uh, Pod reveal. Eric and I are trying something new today. We're both recording in a pillow fort in order to take advantage of the sound dampening qualities of blankets to reduce
Hmm.
echo and improve the listening experience for you, the breadheads.
And just so everyone knows, we're not in the same pillow fort. That would be extra zesty. We are doing
Yeah,
this remotely. Um,
good
but
call.
yeah, I just want to make that
Hmm.
absolutely crystal for the listeners today.
Hmm.
Anything else
Wow.
from you, Ty? I think I've pretty much tapped out of all the sauce I had in the bottle.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm fully squeezed. I'm ready to take a nap.
Oh yeah. Breadheads, thank you. And thanks to everyone who purchased a BlendJet using
Hmm.
our code Breadhead12.
Hmm.
Um, all that money is being reinvested into this podcast
Hmm. And
and
ammunition.
ammunition for activations like that, because I think if we can find a way to use all of our profits to like fuel content creation activities, I think we'll be in a really great spot because we're always going to be doing something fun and novel, and that's what that money is going to. So thank you, Breadheads.
It allows us to expand the universe of Subway and keep us podding. We're like the Tesla of podcasts. All of the revenue gets reinvested in R&D.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Rest and digest.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Excellent. That's our podcast title right there.
He came through in the 11th hour.
I know we were searching, we were reaching, bro, but we got there. Anyways, talk to your heads later this week. Ciao.
Ciao.